Greetings, everyone. Tuesday, November the 5th, Election Day here in the United States. And I know here in the U.S. and around the world, people are watching with bated breath to see what will be the outcome and the result between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. But my friends, you know here we're supporting Ukraine, trying to share truth, and looking at other stories that are happening around the world to bring clarity to how we should live our lives to be the best we can be. In Ukraine today, the war is raging. There are a couple of major stories. We're struggling on some of the front lines, especially on the southern side near Pokrovsk, on the eastern side of Kupiansk, and in the southeastern corner near Kharkov. Russia has been sending shaheeds, and it appears that they are preparing a large-scale missile attack in the very near future. But with all of that said, the world's still watching the election in the United States. Today, Andrei Yermak, actually it would have been yesterday, but this morning here in our time checking the news, on 1+1, he was interviewed talking about two topics. You may ask, who is Andrei Yermak? Andrei Yermak is the large guy that is always traveling with President Zelensky, the top official and the advisor of the office of the president there, assisting Zelensky in all that he does. Today, he was making two key critical comments about the election and about the outcome of the war in Ukraine. First, I know you're interested to see, what is the view of Yermak and Zelensky on the American election? Check this out.
Everyone saw that after the UN General Assembly in New York, the president presented a victory plan at the White House, met with VP candidate Kamala Harris in Congress, and then met Donald Trump in New York. I know for sure. I was at all these meetings. The president has a great relationship with Vice President Kamala Harris and with Donald Trump. I can't disclose details, especially before the election, as you understand, but I can tell you for sure it's not just formal. It's a very good personal relationship. And believe me, we returned to Ukraine feeling that I don't believe any U.S. president, as this is purely an American election, whom we respect, would be willing to hand Putin a victory. And none of the presidents would do anything to undermine America's status as the leader of the free world, as a strong nation that won't let autocracy defeat democracy.
I love that statement there that Yermak makes regarding the United States. He says, I do not believe that the United States will be a place that will allow autocracy to beat democracy. Of course, a direct statement against the dictator there, Vladimir Putin. Yermak saying the right things. I expect the United States, regardless, to support Ukraine. Now, of course, we know that both candidates have completely different viewpoints on Ukraine. And the truth will turn out. We can't do anything right now. But if you're an American citizen, you can vote. If you are not an American citizen, you watch and you look and you do your part wherever you are at. Now, as we are looking at this transition of power in the United States, and regardless, there will be a transition of power, whether it comes from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris or from Joe Biden to Donald Trump, it's going to be. Because things will operate differently, of course, under a new president and administration. Now, once that happens, what will Ukraine then be thinking about the way ending the war will look? The borders. How should we look toward the future? Will Ukraine be broken up? Will Ukraine stand and fight until victory? Will Ukraine require that its sovereign borders be intact? Yermak answers that question right here on the same interview on 1+1.
Look, this war could end in various ways, and one such way is diplomacy. But this diplomatic path can't start from the lines of February 24th, 2022. That'd be unfair, wrong, and not in line with international law. Look, let me put it this way. This is my opinion. What I feel is a fair and possible start for discussing diplomacy. And I think, as I've said, this is fair not just for us, but for the whole world. Ukraine must regain all its territories and people. The ways to achieve this may vary.
Yermak says it straight. Ukraine must retain all of its sovereign territory and all of its people. Diplomacy, how it will look, how the war will continue, I don't know. He says, honestly, it's my opinion, but I can tell you, Ukraine must retain all of its sovereign territory. That includes Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson Oblast, and Crimea, and all of our people. So guys, today, that is the Ukrainian viewpoint on the American election. That is the Ukrainian viewpoint on how the war is going. I will tell you two other key things that you should keep your eyes and ears open to, and we will be talking about this more. But it is mobilization and two factors of mobilization. Ukraine desperately needing an infusion of soldiers. And yes, there are talks of doctors and professionals being sent to the front lines. They are true. It's tough in Ukraine. Additionally, many people inside Ukraine, led by some female commanders, talking about increasing female mobilization and making an effort to do that. The bottom line is Ukraine is fighting for their very survival while the world is watching the election in the United States today. As we do watch that, and rightfully so, make sure you keep your eyes on Ukraine, your ears to the ground, and your heart open to be all that you can be to help what is right with the world. Thank you for standing with us as we help Ukraine. And thank you for being, as Professor Gertis would say, a really good person doing the right thing. You guys be blessed. November the 4th. Greetings, everyone. It is Tuesday, November the 5th. Early in the